Caught my 21-year-old daughter on OnlyFans. And what I found shocked me. Hey, Reddit. I never thought I'd be here, sharing something so personal, but I'm out of options. My name is Emily, 43, and I'm a single mom to my daughter, Haley, who's 21. Haley has always been my whole world. I raised her by myself after her father, John, and I divorced when she was 10. Since then, it's been just the two of us, and we've been inseparable. Haley is in her third year of college now. She's a smart, driven kid who always puts her academics first. I'm so proud of her. She works part-time too, since tuition is so expensive, and I can't afford to help her out financially as much as I'd like. I thought everything was going well for her. She's always been so responsible. But over the last few months, I noticed changes that made me question if I really knew what was going on in her life. It started when I noticed she was suddenly buying new things, designer clothes, high-end skincare, and even a brand new laptop. I'm not saying she's never treated herself before, but this was different. I knew her part-time job couldn't be covering all these expenses. When I asked her about it, she just said she'd picked up extra shifts. I didn't want to pry, so I let it go, but something felt off. Then, about a week ago, she came home with a brand new smartphone. That was the last straw for me. I couldn't shake this feeling that something wasn't adding up. I decided to check her laptop one night when she was out. I know that was a massive invasion of privacy, and I feel guilty even admitting it here. But I couldn't ignore my gut feeling. When I opened her browser history, I found something that made my stomach drop. There, in plain sight, was her OnlyFans profile. She was using a different name, but it was clearly her picture. I was in complete shock. I knew what OnlyFans was, but I never thought I'd find my own daughter on it. I started going through her profile, scrolling through her posts and reading some of the comments. It wasn't as explicit as I expected, but the sheer number of followers and comments made it clear she was doing well. Really well. Thousands of dollars a month, from what I could gather. The more I read, the more I felt this mix of disbelief, anger, and sadness. It felt like my worst fear had come true. I didn't know my daughter as well as I thought I did. When she got home, I couldn't keep it in. I asked her outright if she had an OnlyFans account. She looked horrified, like she had no idea how I could possibly know. At first, she tried to deny it, but when she saw the look on my face, she just sighed and admitted it. She explained that she started it a few months ago to cover her school fees, and she insisted she wasn't doing anything overly explicit. But that wasn't the point for me. We had an argument, and she said that this was the best way she could find to make money without working herself to death. She told me it wasn't just about the money. She'd found people who valued her, who appreciated her. That hurt me. I thought I'd been there for her, always supported her, but apparently, that wasn't enough. I couldn't believe that my daughter felt she had to turn to strangers online to feel validated. I didn't know what to say to her after that. I just sat there, speechless. That night, while lying awake, I couldn't get the image of her profile out of my mind. I knew I needed to understand more about the kind of people following her. Maybe if I could see things from her perspective, I'd be able to understand why she felt this was her best option. So, against my better judgment, I clicked through her subscriber list, looking at the usernames. And then I saw it, his username. My ex-husband, John. He was following her account. For a second, I thought I must be imagining things. But there it was, clear as day. I recognized the username instantly. He uses the same handle across all his social media. I felt sick. John and I have been divorced for nearly a decade. We barely speak, and he's had little to do with Haley since she was a teenager. But here he was, subscribed to her account, following her, and seeing things that no father should see. I called him immediately, and he tried to act surprised when I confronted him. I demanded to know why he was following Haley's account. He stammered, saying he didn't know it was her, that he just subscribed to an account that popped up. But I didn't buy it. How could he not know it was her? Her face was right there. I told him to unfollow her immediately, to stay out of her life completely, and I hung up on him. The next day, Haley called me, sobbing. Someone at her college had leaked her OnlyFans profile. People were sharing her photos around campus, calling her names, and bullying her. She was absolutely devastated, saying she couldn't even go to her classes anymore. She was broken, and all I wanted to do was hug her and make the pain go away. I felt so guilty, like maybe my snooping set off this chain of events. She still doesn't know her dad was following her account, and I don't know if I should tell her. Part of me thinks it would only make things worse. She's already dealing with so much. The last thing I want to do is add to her burden. But at the same time, I feel this overwhelming need to be honest with her. I'm torn, not knowing how to support her or if I even have a right to be angry at her anymore. This whole situation is just a nightmare. I keep replaying our conversations in my head, wondering if I missed signs that she needed more from me, that she felt alone or unsupported. She claims that she did it because she felt respected by her followers, appreciated in a way she didn't from anyone else. And maybe, just maybe, that includes me too. That thought has been gnawing at me, leaving me feeling like a failure. Could I have been more supportive, more present? Did I somehow push her into this without even realizing it? And now, I'm not only dealing with my own feelings of failure, but I'm haunted by the fact that her father, the man who should have been there to protect her, is following her online in such an invasive way. I can't believe someone I was once married to, someone who's supposed to care for her, would do something so despicable. It feels like a double betrayal, one that I can't just sweep under the rug. So, Reddit, I'm lost. I don't know how to move forward from this. Should I tell Haley about her father's involvement? How do I rebuild the trust between us? Part of me feels like our relationship will never be the same, and I worry that I'll never understand her decision. All I want is to be there for her, to protect her, but it feels like every move I make just ends up hurting her more. If anyone has been through something similar or has any advice, I'd appreciate it. This whole situation has made me question everything I thought I knew about being a mom, and I don't know if our lives will ever go back to normal.